Big if true. Elon Musk posting this, teasing Grok 3 release with live demo on Monday night at 8 p.m. PT. Smartest AI on Earth, with 47 million impressions on this post and counting. Safe to say all eyes are going to be on this Grok 3 demo. This is a bold claim. Smartest AI on Earth. Big if true. While we're discussing XAI, this over on Doomberg. Musk's XAI discussing $10 billion raise at a $75 billion valuation. And XAI last fundraised at a $51 billion valuation. And a couple of years ago, the company didn't even fucking exist. This is stunning to see happen. This pace, incredible. And now, in completely unrelated matters, a couple of guys who work at Tesla, and of course we know that Tesla is just a car company and has nothing at all to do with AI, discussing Tesla's future, just a car company product, something to do with autonomy.
Future is this fully autonomous driving.
Right.
Like, we are really close. We're doing it, fully autonomous rides in our engineering fleet right now and in Texas, and that's coming around the corner. And I don't think people really realize how close it is to just getting in a car, pressing the destination, and then getting there without even touching the wheel or the pedals. And that's going to be ubiquitous, I think, faster than we would imagine.
So as I said earlier, Tesla is just a car company, and therefore autonomy, robotaxis are also just a feature that any car company will immediately be able to copy. And if it just so happens that on Monday, Grok 3 does demonstrate leadership, becoming the world's best language model out of almost nowhere at record pace, we certainly won't be able to use that as a reference point to how quickly a Musk-led AI effort can find itself in a position of leadership. And people won't look back and go, man, the signs are really there the whole time, the last 10 years. We could see Tesla had a different approach to autonomy. Everyone else was zigging while Tesla was zagging. How could anyone possibly have known Tesla would run away with autonomy and take an outsized share of the robotaxi market? Speaking of out of nowhere, and Tesla, I saw this on X, Tesla's cash and cash equivalents, their investments, from 2007 through till the end of 2024. In 2016, funnily enough, when I first began buying Tesla stock, the company had, call it around $3 billion or so in cash and investments. Less than a decade later, that total now stands at $36.5 billion. More than a 10 times increase in less than a decade. And you know what they've been doing over this entire almost decade-long period of time, right? Extending their already unassailable data lead when it comes to autonomy. Investing aggressively in future opportunities, not standing still. The progress Tesla's made already with their vehicles, their products, their energy storage, the lead they've built up with their novel, generalized solution for autonomy, and the progress on the Optimus humanoid robot, and still not far off $40 billion of cash and investments. Enough to weather any storm. Speaking of storms, I saw this from AJ on X. VW sold 9 of the fully electric ID.7s in January in China. Now, I'm sure there's a good reason for this, but I'm not sure there's a good reason for VW even trying to sell these fucking vehicles in China. If we look at the monthly data going back a year or so, they're selling at best a couple of hundred of these things per month on average. Why even bother? But actually, why even bother? Delete. What are they doing? What are they thinking? The amount of overhead and complexity associated with selling this product in China and you're only selling a few hundred. Who cares? Get rid of it. Oh, wait, that would require a brain. My bad. While we're on the subject of legacy automotive companies and China, check this out. General Motors China revenue. To be clear, this is joint venture revenue. Tesla the first and still, as far as I'm aware, only foreign automotive manufacturer to have a wholly owned factory in China. No joint venture. CCP really rolled out the red carpet for Tesla. This is not a positive trend. This is trailing 12-month data, peaking around 2018 at about $55 billion, having now collapsed to not far off $20 billion. Again, this is trailing 12 months, so the actuals are even worse. So GM, it's inevitable they're going to give up at some point. Ideally before this turns to zero and then goes negative. Oh, and in totally unrelated matters, anyone remember what the best-selling car in China was last year? Wait, I think I know. Oh, that's right. It was the Model Y by Tesla. Now, a quick change of pace. Some of you guys may have noticed over the past few days and weeks, things playing out exactly as I predicted. Again, imagine that. Elon Musk, currently public enemy number one. Why is that? Well, Donald Trump can't win the US presidential election for a fourth time. Are you mad? So they don't have to worry about him once the term's up. No problems. Guess what? They do have to worry about Musk. He's got many decades of meaningful influence. And the attacks as legacy media collapses, it becomes less and less relevant. Viewership flees, becoming even more deranged. And of course, the swamp creatures who feel rightly threatened by DOGE discovering waste, fraud and abuse in the government, losing their minds. Well, check this out. Saw Jeff post this over on X. Notice this sign? A picture of Elon. I am stealing from you. The irony, by the way. I mean, this guy's discovering theft in government. Anyway, by the way, do you notice the font on all these signs are exactly the same? Like it almost looks like somebody just whipped out a bunch of different designs and just printed them out and handed them out to people. Make no mistake, this is a coup. This is a coup. Stop the Musk-Trump coup. This is a coup. Elon, take your hands off my money. But that's not where it ends. This same sign here highlighted, also appearing here, Washington, D.C. But this was Manhattan, as Jeff rightly points out. Quote, the same exact signs show up in Manhattan and Washington and D.C. Inauthentic and forced. There's a central source instigating protests in multiple cities. Shocker. He ain't wrong. Renter crowds, 100%. James Stevenson rightly pointing this out. What Elon is actually doing is catching the people who are stealing from you, notifying the president and stopping them. Now, curiously, until Elon Bad became public enemy number one, the idea of discovering and preventing government waste, fraud and abuse was quite popular on the left. In fact, let's see what the big guy in Obama had to say on this very subject just a handful of years ago.
Budget reform is not an option. It's a necessity.
The American people are entitled to transparency.
We can't sustain a system that bleeds billions of taxpayer dollars on programs that have outlived their usefulness or exist solely because of the power of politicians, lobbyists, or interest groups.
They're entitled to be able to figure out where their dollars are going, and they're entitled to accountability to make sure that we're using the dollars for what we said it was for.
We are going to go through our federal budget, as I promised during the campaign, page by page, line by line, eliminating those programs we don't need and insisting that those that we do need operate in a sensible, cost-effective way. What should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody.
We hope to be instilling an entire new culture that not only our administration, but every succeeding administration will in fact pursue.
No amount of waste is acceptable, not when it's your money.
We all know that government can be inefficient. We all know that the bureaucracy can be bloated. We all worked in the fucking White House. We tried to reorganize the government. We tried to find efficiency. It's hard to do.
And honestly, some of this is pretty annoying because it's some of the stuff we should have done.
So what changed? Just a few years ago, pre-rapid cognitive decline, the big guy suggesting that no amount of waste was acceptable. He was all for accountability. Same with Obama. Why now suddenly? When the utter goat, the absolute goat of resourcefulness, capital efficiency, Elon Musk, who's demonstrated this over and over in the real world, is volunteering his time to help detect, discover, and address this waste, this fraud, this misuse of taxpayer money. Why suddenly Elon bad? It's actually worth taking the time to think about this. Of course, when you have centralized random protesters appearing with pre-made signs in different cities, and you have almost the entire legacy media shrieking about Elon bad and the Department of Government Efficiency. By the way, H3 media leans heavily to the left, so there's that. Makes you wonder. And speaking of wondering, check out this hilarious summary. A story in 4 parts. Reuters writes a hit piece against DOGE. Musk tweets, I wonder what Reuters are being paid. DOGE uncovers Department of Defense contract paying Reuters for, quote, large-scale social deception. Part 4 of this story is tumbleweeds from Reuters. This is amazing, by the way. Check it out. Here comes the hit piece. Musk's DOGE cuts based more on political ideology than real cost savings so far, writes a trio of retards working for the USAID-funded H3 media, who hate you, hate humanity, and hate the truth. Musk responds to this. I wonder how much money Reuters is getting from the government. Let's find out. Next minute. Department of Defense paid Reuters $9 million for social engineering program. And while DARPA claims it was for cyber defense, questions swirl about why a news agency, Reuters, received millions for, quote, social engineering. Of course, they'll explain this away, but check this shit out. This is from usspending.gov. Here are the details of the contract. The awarding agency, Department of Defense. That's who paid. Recipient, Thomas Reuters Special Services, LLC. But wait, the description. This shit is amazing. Active Social Engineering Defense, ASED. Large-scale social deception. Bro, what? Wait, somebody say large-scale social deception? Why are we looking at the renter crowds again? With the pre-made signs and posters. That wouldn't be social deception, would it? No. Now grab some popcorn, kick back and relax. It's Scott Jennings, who has single-handedly made the Crisis News Network worth watching. Actually, still not worth watching, but it is worth watching the clips of him, his entire role, to rationally and calmly respond with facts and data to a bunch of hysterical, emotional, shrieking left-hearted talking heads. Dude's doing a great job, by the way. Seriously, this is like the best media hire probably of the last decade. Whoever hired this guy at CNN is a genius. Just check out this incredible clip, a real interaction from one of these left-hearted NPCs. If I didn't know any better, I might suggest another example of social engineering and manipulating the narrative. If people hear it enough on CNN, it must be true. Just watch this.
He's not been transparent. I mean, there may be...
They are making routine announcements about the things they are finding, and they are inviting questions about the things they are finding every single day.
But by definition, he's not being transparent. They're not providing data for the things that they say they have found evidence of. They just aren't.
The White House has provided...
You can make announcements, and he also did admit that he actually...
So you just don't believe it. I mean, they are providing information. You just choose not to believe that it's true.
What would we do without Scott Jennings? One last clip of White House tech support, Elon Musk, explaining the purpose of DOGE, at least its intent. And I do again remind you folks, Elon is now public enemy number one. The entire Washington swamp, everyone who's involved in the grift, the waste, the fraud, the abuse, the misuse of taxpayer money, those on $200K a year salaries who suddenly are worth $30 million out of nowhere, nothing to see here. In addition to the leftist media, all completely unhinged. Oh, by the way, a lot of the leftist media, it turns out, was actually funded by US aid. I mean, talk about a fucking gigantic corrupt circle jerk there. US government paying left-leaning media outlets to say Orange Man bad and Elon bad. You can't make this shit up, but this, in fact, is what has been discovered. If you thought the stuff we were seeing today, the renter crowds, Elon bad, Elon, get your hands off our money. If you thought that was bad, and the retards spray painting Nazi on a couple of Cybertrucks here and there, if you thought that was bad, it is only going to get worse. The more fraud is discovered by DOGE, not just discovered, but exposed and stopped, the more successful the Trump administration at draining the swamp, the more ferocious these attacks from politicians. But that's not all. As the legacy media continues to see its audience collapse, I mean, you'd have to be retarded to still trust the H3 media after hoax after hoax after lie. You'd have to be stupid. But there are still some stupid people out there, but they're quickly realizing, holy shit, I've been lied to. As viewerships collapse, the legacy media have only got two choices. One, just lay down and die. Or two, shriek as hysterically as possible, lie as much as possible, deceive as much as possible, become as deranged as possible, do whatever it takes out of sheer desperation to attract eyeballs of the last few remaining retards who actually trust the H3 media. It will only get worse as legacy media outlets continue their inevitable demise. The Elon is a Nazi hoax. If you thought that was ridiculous, mate, there's got to be a million things worse than this as legacy outlets collapse. Oh, and it doesn't really help that X is in part putting the legacy media out of business, does it?
We do need to delete entire agencies as opposed to leave part of them behind. Because if you leave part of them behind, it's easy. It's kind of like leaving a weed. If you don't remove the roots of the weed, then it's easy for the weed to grow back. But if you remove the roots of the weed, it doesn't stop weeds from ever growing back, but it makes it harder. So we have to really delete entire agencies, many of them. That's not to say there won't be an increase over time of bureaucracy in some new administration, but it'll be from a much lower baseline. So it's a step in the right direction. I think the overarching goal here is to lay the foundation for prosperity that will last many decades, maybe centuries. And but it won't be forever. Nothing's forever. But I think we can strengthen the foundations of the United States substantially.
Don't be fooled by the social engineering, the renter crowds, the renter protesters, the deranged, extreme leftist media, the social media bots. All reasonable people fully support the Department of Government Efficiency. But that's not what you're going to hear from the media over the next 4 years. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month's supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.